I think I want to see the definition of that because
fulvous
sounds odd.
The definition has been lost to time, Bruce.
I think this is bullshit.
The last time I said that, my mom slapped me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, powered by DeerCast. Mr. Matt Drury over there.
Mr. Tim Chelswick, and we're heading into 4th of July here next week, and we got a special guest here on the podcast this week.
Yeah. We got Bruce Pettit. He's the president and CEO at Leupold Stevens, and somehow he allowed you to come out to that big range experience that they had out west.
I'm such a good
How did that work out?
What's up, Bruce? How are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, we appreciate you jumping on. So we had Chad Money Mendez on a week or two back on the podcast, and we had a chance to talk about the academy or the shooting academy out there that you guys put on. It's a kind of an exclusive, private invite only thing. But somehow I got an invite, and I think that's what perplexes Tim the most.
Yeah, it didn't say Mark Drury on it. Maybe just
they messed up the initials.
We had to have someone carry Taylor's equipment.
That's all. That's a good call. That's all I'm good for.
I just see someone there being like scratching out Mark's name and writing in Matt, like, oh, Matt's here. Hey,
yeah, you know what? It is funny because they had a Leupold bag that had a bunch of gear in it, apparel and stuff, and all my stuff was sized too large. It was for Mark. No, you know what? Taylor's the better shooter anyway, so I really probably should have just carried her stuff around for her. So that event is so unique to me. What made you guys decide to kind of get into that and start bringing, some people in to take them through the courses and teach them up a little bit? Because to me, it was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah, I mean, that facility is, we call it the Leupold Optics Academy. And so we've really built that over the last few years to do multiple things. I mean, the first piece of it was really R&D for us, right? It's a chance to get out and see our product work at long range, at short range, different light conditions, and really was developed for our engineering team and to train our sales team and really kind of take product to the next level. And then from that, it's kind of turned into being able to educate other folks. We've had, elite military folks out there. We've had various from National Guard folks to other people we've trained and taken through some of the trainings. But for an event like you were at, it's really an opportunity for, some of our Team Leupold members like you are and all of Team Drury to come out and have a chance to check it out and see the product. I think when you get a chance to shoot in low light and in things that aren't just like in the middle of unfortunately, a lot of people have to pick their scope in the middle of a retail store. Yeah. And the light's perfect, and it's bright. And when you really counts the last 10 and the first 10 of the day, you want to see those conditions. So it's just an opportunity to kind of take it to another level for everybody who's a part of Team Leupold.
I've had several people reach out to me and ask me for more information on this academy. And I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, but it's just an invite only thing. Like, it's not something that you guys have like a one time a year where people can apply to come to it, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some events before where we've done giveaways and brought some consumers out there. So that's all, possible, but it is not a commercial facility. Yeah. It is simply, not something that we do out there that way. It's just really for our team to be able to use and really take care of, looking after our product.
Bruce, I'm curious, with having so many hunters come out, does your team see kind of some like a general, a lot of hunters do this wrong when they shoot and think they're doing it right?
Yeah, we did a couple things. We have the long range course that's out there, but the other thing is we built this essentially a hunt course, right? Where you need to go through, identify targets and find a shooting position, because you don't get to lay on a mat every time that you get to to try to harvest an animal. And so the ability to go through that course and really figure out how are you going to get set up. And for us in the West in particular, we're often in a lot of times where it's like, hey, this has got to happen fast and we've got to use our pack, or we've got to figure out how to get steady. And so getting 3 points of contact and looking at ways to get a good shot off as quick as you can is part of what that course is built to do. Plus, then you got to identify the target, and then we can see if you've made a good shot or not, right? So I think it's, there's a lot of good shooters that aren't necessarily great hunters because they haven't had to go through that process of, okay, how am I going to get steady in this situation and get a good shot, and really get set up. And I think it allows that to happen too. And so, it's just marrying the precision long range shooting with what we have to do as hunters when we're out hunting.
Chad mentioned that 3 points of contact in our previous show. Is that with the gun? Is that with the ground? What is that talking about?
Yeah, that's you yourself. So if you can get an elbow down and you can get 3 points of contact where you're real steady, that's ultimately how you're gonna have the best shot. So think about your rifle, think about this elbow and this elbow, and sometimes you got to build a little platform, right? But that's really what it's about, getting steady. And we spend a lot of time on that when we're working with hunters as to, hey, look, this is how you're going to ultimately, because there are so many missed shots when you're not stable. I mean, that's really, it's generally not the rifle or the ammo or the scope. It's generally the hunter, because they haven't been able to get into that stable position. And I think teaching people how to do that quickly and giving them just a few tools to think about of how you can use your elbow here, or you can, use your knee or whatever to make sure you're stable is part of the discipline.
You mentioned something there about great shooters aren't necessarily great hunters. Do you see the reverse of that, where a great hunter, can put a good shot on it when the time comes and counts, isn't a great shooter when they're not, don't have an animal in front of them to take aim at? Is the reverse the same?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why bringing it together. That's why I like these NRL hunter courses and a lot of the things that have come out now in marrying the two, which is your kind of precision shooting with that, because I think it goes both ways. And I've experienced over time where doggone it, I knew I should have got more stable, and I rushed a shot and I didn't make a good shot because I wasn't able to get in that position. And so now just having that discipline of being able to get in position and make sure that you can make an accurate shot is absolutely critical.
It's really not necessarily even the first shot, especially like if we're talking to our audience, mostly whitetail consumer. Yeah. It's not necessarily the first shot. It's if you have to follow up, to stay on them or to get back on them and to steady and maybe they're running or whatever. That I think is where it's as important as anything. Hopefully you don't need
You're losing your mind. Yeah. If that, if that
like happens. When shit goes haywire, can I put a good follow-up shot on?
Well, that's why we practice things like running your bolt, right? Staying in your scope. Don't come out, stay in your scope, run your bolt, make sure that you can stay on. And I think that, that's the kind of thing. And now with having suppressors and, muzzle brakes and everything, we can, even with some of the higher calibers, you can get, stay in your scope so much easier. There's so much benefit to the tools we have right now that you can get a follow-up shot pretty quick.
Yeah. And I think even not needing to, you guys have great glass in those scopes, but not needing to always crank it all the way to the highest power, also helps a little bit for that follow-up, which that's something that I think you learn the hard way. Either you know it or you don't, maybe. And I had to learn it the hard way, I think, and always wanting to zoom it all the way in or have it zoomed in, which typically even finding something for the first time, it's like, I don't know. I always heard, dad saying it's like, no, start way out, zoom that thing way out and start there. It's just going to be easier. And I don't know, as a younger guy, I always felt like, oh no, I want to see it. I want to get closer.
I wonder if video games had something to do with that. Cause you're wanting to zoom in to see the target. Headshots and stuff.
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. So you also mentioned something about that first 10 and last 10. The first night we were there, that was a big part of why you guys had us come the very first evening out to the range, because you had a bunch of competitors and Leupold scopes all kind of, on tripods and sitting there ready. And we were able to go like one by one and look at them. And I was really surprised at some, what would be at retail classified as really expensive, brands weren't that great in those low light conditions versus what would be almost even like a entry level price point scope from Leupold. And I mean, I'm not saying that because you're on here. That was just the reality. I think that's why you guys had it set up that way, obviously, for us to be able to test that. But that was pretty eye-opening for me just to see.
Oh, eye-opening.
Yes.
Great joke.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that, look, we've got 85 engineers here at Leupold, and we work really hard on light management. I mean, that's kind of ultimately, we're a manufacturer and we, do a great job of making this rugged scope that we guarantee for life. But at the end of the day, it's really about light management and how does that glare affect you? How does low light affect you? And I've been through that, Matt. So I'm not going to talk about any one competitor, but I've been through it with all of our competitors, and we're the best. I just know we are the best at managing low light and understanding what it is to be able to hunt in those times. And I've had plenty of times where I've been hunting with someone that had something else, and they're like, "We're done. I can't see anymore." I go, "Here, just take a look through that." Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe that the difference. And so I'm really proud of our engineering team and our optical engineers, because they take it really seriously about managing that light. And we do it in everything we do. I mean, we do it in our binos. We did it in our eyewear, in our performance eyewear. I mean, if you look at what it does for glare, I mean, compare it against anything else out there, it is really, really good product.
I have a reputation for trying to save money wherever I can. And I hunted for a lot of years with, I know it's surprising, hunted for a lot of years with different branded optics. When I first started Drury Outdoors and you got me a pair of Leupold binos, it was like someone that has cataracts, and then you take the cataracts off. Not only the light transmission in low light, but the color on it. Like I just didn't realize how vivid color could be. Like it's real life color, and how it washed out it can be in other kind of lower quality glass. The other thing I noticed was the depth perception was there. Like in other like rangefinders and binos I'd used in the past, everything just seemed flat. But with the Leupold glass, there was actual depth, and you could understand where things were, and it wasn't just a flat world. So it was really shocking to see like what I'd been missing that whole time.
I think for me, what was a surprise was how blue a lot of those other competitive scopes were when it got a little bit darker. They were just really blue. A lot of, and I think that speaks to what you're saying, Tim, is the clarity, or kind of how clean the image is. But yeah, it was an interesting way to start. And I'm glad that's how you guys started, because then from there, you then kind of taught us the why behind it. And you mentioned your engineers, but that part, I haven't had a chance to come out to the facility. So I really, this was the first chance I had been able to get some of the information behind why. So that to me, I know there's a lot of trade secrets in there, but is there something that, you could speak to publicly that kind of talks about why it is different?
Well, I mean, look, that's the secret sauce, right? I mean, I think it's just really spending a lot of time and being really persistent about making sure that everything you do has great light management and great optics. I mean, I know you have some, Matt, the BX4 rangefinding binocular that we launched, and it's doing really well. And we delayed launching that, frankly, because, one of the things that, Tim and our team really were adamant about is that optically had to work, because we have a great rangefinding engine, and it's fast and it's accurate, and I think that thing goes out to like 1,500 yards. But the reality of it is that you're going to look through those binoculars all day. A lot of times we're sitting on the side of a mountain, or we're sitting in a blind or whatever it is, and we're looking through them all day, and they can't be blue. They just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the knocks on rangefinding binos is the optical clarity of them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to give up on optical clarity. We want to make sure that you're getting a good, clear image looking through that. And that's why we spent so much time on really making sure that like the rangefinding bino and obviously all of our scopes and binos have that same light management system in there. And that's really something we do really well. I mean, it's hard. It takes a lot of work to continue to really work with that. But we've been making rifle scopes for 75 years. So we're starting to get pretty good at it.
What does the blue tint indicate?
I just think they've had some issues with their coatings probably. I mean, they haven't really, it's probably a little easier process. It might look good, better in a store, and you can get away with it. I'm not an optical engineer, and I could probably bring one of them in here that give you the scientific. All I know is when I look through it, I go, oh, that doesn't look good. That's not what I want. And when you look through a good pair of binos, you know it.
Yep. I've lived that for sure.
The funny thing about that BX4, the range finding binocular, I got to use it while I was on the course, and several of the other folks were using the brand new RX 5000 rangefinder that they had, the one that can, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it can actually integrate with your mapping apps. And so I was a step ahead of everybody because a lot of guys they'd have to put up the binoculars and then refine it with the rangefinder. I'm just all in one motion. And like that course is no joke because you got 4 minutes to do all this, write your ranges down and then, get set, shoot, move to the next target, shoot, whatever the case may be. But I will say, like, I could see where it would be super handy, especially on a big game hunt where, I had them all fall. So I was using them in the blind, in a tree, whatever. But I could see where an out west hunt would be very handy because you're whatever, you're seeing something real quickly. You're already looking through your binoculars, just range it and then you're ready to shoot. So I don't know. It's a neat product. And I know range finding binoculars have existed for a while, but this was my first go with it. And it's addicting more than anything. I just found myself constantly, a doe would come out in the corner, 85.
You want to know how far the doe is? Really?
Yeah, I think Scott was sick of me by the end of the season, but it's like, all right, he just came out at 90. It's like, okay, we're bow hunting. Just letting you know he's at 90.
Yeah, when you're hunting together though, that's the great thing of having that is you can range something for someone else.
Yeah.
And, he's got, if it's a 300-yard shot, he can just dial the 300 with his custom dial and boom. It's so fast how you can do that whole process when you've got that and you're hunting with somebody else. So.
Yeah, it is quick. So pretty awesome. So I briefly touched on that RX 5000. You guys just launched this maybe a month or so back, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's a new rangefinder. You can currently, so it has an app that you guys launched that goes with it. And in the app, you can set it up to connect to Apple Maps, Google Maps, and OnX Hunt currently. Hopefully here, within the next couple months, we're hoping to have it within DeerCast and I think maybe even another app, Hunt Stand. So we're super excited about that. But tell us exactly how that integration works or what it is that tech's doing there.
Yeah. So first of all, the RX 5000 is got our engine, which is the fastest, most accurate engine out there. So it absolutely it's insanely accurate out to 5,000 yards, and you're gonna be right on. So there's some huge advantages with dropping that to whatever map you're using. Okay. And so, for example, as you've got your mapping software out, you go into the Leupold control app. It's really easy to set up. That was one of the things that I was, for me as a hunter, I don't need to do 17 things to try and make something work. I want to push one button. And this one, it just says pin. And you hit it. And all of a sudden, now you've got your rangefinder. You're able to look and say, okay, that's 800 yards away. It's going to drop that onto your map right there. And it is literally right where that deer is standing at 800 yards.
Crazy. And
so now you know where it is. And there's huge advantages, as you guys know, to all kinds of things with that. One is, where if you do take a shot, where you took that shot. Mm-hmm. So if it's 400 yards away or 300 yards away, whatever it is, and you take that shot and that deer disappears, okay, well, here's where I'm going to start looking for blood. that's a big advantage because particularly, as you guys know, when terrain changes and out west for us, you think, oh, that I know exactly where that is. And you get over there and you're like, you know what? Now what am I looking for?
Yeah.
And so when you've got the ability to put that on your map and follow it right to where that pin is, that's huge. The other thing is, last year, I was out hunting in Utah and was hunting mule deer. And I had a mule deer that honestly was literally standing on the border of Utah and Wyoming. So he was I was in the right spot, but he had to take a few steps to get out of Wyoming and come to Utah before I could actually hunt him. And so I knew where he was. Right. It's really a cool situation in terms of, is he on private land? Is it on public land? Is it on our property? Is it somebody else? Or how about the guy that walks onto your property? I know you guys have experienced that before. And you're like, no, I can pin exactly where he's at. He's actually standing on our property. He's not even on his own property.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of we've had from, game and fish folks to all kinds of people talk about the various uses that you can have with this thing. So it's pretty cool, and it works really simply, and it's super accurate. And also it leaves that pin there. So what I do is I can change the icon on it to say deer or elk or whatever I saw and know where that's at.
One of the first, so when I first heard about it, I had to sit and think about it for a little bit because it's like, all right, I totally get it out west. What's my application here in the Midwest, whitetail hunting or whatever? And I, as the more I got to thinking of it, it's like, man, you hit the nail on the head when you said like to range it and you shot, even if it's 150, 200 yards away, you at least know where you shot last. But I think about it more like this. How often you saw where the deer ran into the timber or ran somewhere. And we have the luxury of looking back at it on film, and that we still have trouble. Once it gets dark, you're like, all right, I think it was this cedar tree. Oh wait, no, it was this one over here.
Yourself.
You are. So if you can, from this tree stand or the blind or wherever you're sitting, be able to range it right there. Last place I saw him was right here. Boom, range it, drop that pin onto your mapping app. There you have right away. You have, at the very least, you have a last point where you saw him to be able to start if you can't find blood anywhere. And that to me is the number one reason to get it for anybody, would be a great reason for your Midwestern guy. So I don't know. I think it's neat. I look forward to trying it out this fall.
Yeah, it's just a great way to lay out the property. I mean, you can sit there in your blind and you can go, okay, I know that they're entering over here. Maybe I want to do something different. You can see the topography because now you're looking at your map and you've got it right there where you can go, okay, actually this might be a better place to locate this blind, or this might be a better situation to set up, based on what we've seen these deer doing. So there's just a whole bunch of things from a strategy standpoint. I think it gives you an advantage to do.
I'm always surprised at how much different the world looks when you get down out of the tree stand and then go over to where you thought you took the shot, and you look back, you're like, where's the stand at again? Especially if it's low light. Just crazy how things change. So being able to market would be awesome.
I can't tell you how many guys, how many times over the years, you guys, that I've had a situation where, I've made a shot and typically our shots are a little longer out here. And I knew it was a good shot, and I'm like, and I'm marking where I think the deer is and, where it's at, or it could be an elk, and get over there. And I'm starting to panic, right? Because I'm trying to figure out where it was and I'm not seeing it. And I'm like, I know I was a good shot. I know that was good. But you're starting that kind of like, oh my gosh, that worst hunter's nightmare, which is you get over there and he's gone. Yeah. And this is just such a great tool to avoid that kind of situation.
Can you speak to the amount of, so you said it's, you range it, it drops a pin. Is there like a yardage amount of error, or like, it's 2 yards or it's 5 yards, or what's the, how accurate is it exactly?
Yeah, within a couple thousand yards, which is anywhere you're going to shoot, it's feet.
Feet.
It's right there. Yeah, it's feet. Yeah.
I'll give you a good head start.
Yeah. One thing to note, you do need to be careful of anything that's magnetized, right? That can throw it off. Yep. So for instance, an Apple Watch, like a Garmin watch or something like that can that, or because I know they said like our binocular harnesses had, magnets in them that potentially could mess with it a little bit. Like what do people need to kind of watch out for, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's it. We've developed a harness that we have coming out now that's non-magnetized. So any of your magnetized, if it's got a decent sized magnet, that can potentially throw off the ranging accuracy of it somewhat. It just depends on how you're holding it, what you're doing. But I don't know if an Apple Watch really will, but there's certainly a magnet on your bino harness or something like that, Ken.
Cool. So it's RX 5000. This thing ranges out to 5,000.
Oh yeah.
That's if I can see that far here where I hunt.
Yeah.
And it's got good glass on it too. When you look through that thing, you can actually, it's magnified. So you can actually see really, really well.
Tim,
check it out.
See the pores on my
larger
nose?
in person.
Hey, nice.
For those listening and not watching, we have one on set. So I'm
and it's the same form factor as all the other
it's
Leupold rangefinders. It's not like a big chunky.
Yeah.
No, it's really clean, really lightweight.
Bruce, you're 4 yards away.
So as you guys dive into more and more of this kind of stuff, the BX4 Range HDs, this RX 5000, the technology advancements, obviously you have an app that goes along with this. Is that an area of the company where it's like, hey, we really need to, keep pushing the envelope and here's an area that we want to focus in on, or what's the thought process there? Is there an area where it's like, no, this is too much technology? It's hard for us to say that because we have an app, but is there a point there where it's too much?
Look, I think it can be. I mean, I think, hunting is a great sport. And I think that, I am all for any kind of technology that helps me recover an animal, because that means I've taken the shot. And I think that's ethical. And so do I want a rifle scope that's going to tell me exactly where to shoot and then pull the trigger for me? No, I don't. That's not something I want. I want to hunt, but once I take that shot, I want to make sure that everything in there, I want to know lights just went out in my room.
Speaking of technology,
it's probably because I'm not moving. Let's just get it on.
Bruce is doing calisthenics if you're just listening to the show.
You guys paying light bills over there, Bruce?
I got to keep paying those light bills out here. It's way too much, spending way too much money on technology. You got to keep the lights on. But I think anything that helps you recover an animal or helps you do that job better and helps me make sure that I'm in the right area and I'm doing it ethically, I think that all makes sense. I think there's going to be a point, and you see it in some states where, whether it's a laser, you've seen some changes with muzzle loaders, right? Yeah. Where they're not going to allow an optic on a muzzle loader. They want it to stay primitive. I get all those things that come through, I think that, we want to keep it a sport that we all have to work out and be a part of, and it's not a video game. Yeah. And I'm all for that. But I think there's real technology that we can continue to develop that help hunters be more strategic and ethical in everything they do. So
and to me, the evolution of technology in hunting is always, if people start to complain about it, you can always choose to not use it. No one is making anyone use this technology.
I think they feel like it's unfair that you're using it. It's their preconceived notion that they're attaching to you as a user of it. That's the issue, right? Yep. So,
but I think you think about the technology, like on the RX 5000 and the pinning technology to an app. I mean, what does it give me an advantage? Well, it makes sure that I don't shoot something that's not in my unit. Or not on my property, that I'm not, poaching someone else's property, and make sure of that, and make sure that if I do take a shot, that I know where that deer was and I can start looking for that deer right there. Mm-hmm. So I think, what's my real advantage? I don't know. I don't see a big advantage over that. I mean, if you don't want pinning, then you just, at least, I can range something 5,000 yards. I guess that's an advantage, but so can they.
You can impress your friends telling them the yardage on different animals.
Yeah, I still can't shoot that far.
And those of us who've been in a whitetail blind for hours upon hours upon hours. Things like that become really fun.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like I had the rangefinding binoculars, and it's just like it's addictive. It's like, okay, how far is that tree over there? Yeah. I don't know why I need to know this, but now I know it.
We should do a whole podcast episode on it.
Just sitting in a blind. So you alluded to it a little bit there. You hunted in Missouri this year, right? With this past season, opening day of the Missouri rifle season or firearm season, and you got to hunt on Dustin Lynch's farm. Was it Missouri or Iowa? Missouri. So you had an encounter there with one-eyed Willie. What's up with this deer?
Yeah, it was, first of all, it was, Mark and Dustin, let me hunt their property there. And that was awesome. And I had Wade as my cameraman. So he's a great dude. And, we've had a good relationship over the years. And so just getting a chance to come back out, and, Taylor and Coondog were in camp. So when Coondog's there, that's the ultimate, right?
Yeah. Party.
Because that's the entertainment value of it. That's right. Bar none, right? It goes over the top. But yeah, I was able to get out for opening day, and I hadn't been out and hunted with Team Drury in a few years actually on deer. So we were able to, and there was a target buck in there. They told me about him, and Wade was talking about this old deer that was coming through, and he's a decent deer and certainly mature and had one eye. And, when he came walking in, and you'll see it on film, when he came walking in with his blind eye to the blind, I thought we got a pretty good shot here.
I don't think he's going to see us.
Deer.
Yeah,
I need a blind deer.
I was doing jumping jacks. He didn't even see anything. But it was awesome, and he played it perfectly. We had some does come out and a couple of other deer, and he just, it was like, there's no way that I couldn't take that deer, because he walked right in front of us at, I think, 40 yards or something. It was just absolutely perfect. And so we made it happen. It was great. It was great to be out there, and then, get back to the lodge and hear the blender going with the margaritas. And all I can hear is Coondog saying, "Blend, baby, blend."
I was going to say, "Blend, baby, blend."
This is going to be a good day.
Yeah. I'm just glad the hunt footage made it in.
Yeah, that's you never know. It was on Dream Season Live, right?
Yeah, it was on Dream Season.
So
it came out.
So Leupold has been the title sponsor over on Dream Season Live for a few years now. And so that cast is kind of cool. It's a younger cast. Of course, everybody knows of the old Dream Season TV days. It was really our marquee show for so long. And, that's back when, we were doing competitions and making them run 100 yards and
game show,
climb a tree and shoot a bow, all kinds of stuff. It was always a good time, but it's switched formats a little bit, but we run it semi-live. So it's as the hunts kind of happen, just like the deer season series, where we're pumping them out as quick as we can and getting the edits out there. But it's a younger crew and cast. And
once upon a time, I was on that series back
when you killed stuff.
You got to kill stuff to be on the show.
We had to call Bruce in to help out.
We got an open spot. Bruce, come on in.
Yeah, so it's cool though. So we'll be firing up that show again here soon. As we get closer to the season, new episodes will start hitting. But you guys are actually jumping on board, and you're going to be a title sponsor of quite a few of the deer season episodes right through the rut and the middle of the season. So we're excited about that. But it's been a good marriage between the two companies, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, just to all of the crew that's on Dream Season and gets that done, they're all so pro. And I'm really just proud of when I watch them all and how they represent not only Team Drury, but, Leupold, and it just makes me really proud. So I'm glad to be a part of that, because, I know that you have, you guys have all these different, forums that get, tons of views, but Dream Season to me is just special because they're just a passionate group of younger hunters there that are getting a chance to kind of be a part of the team and get their hunts out there. And I love their enthusiasm. So we'll always support that.
Hopefully Tim will be back on it this fall.
Don't count on it. Don't anyone hold your breath. I just like sitting in nature.
Tim's a deer watcher.
I mean, that's right.
I have a hard time doing that.
I'll tell you how far they are away.
Yeah, I know exactly where they're at.
This Leupold rangefinder moment brought to you by Leupold.
Brought to you by Tim again. Yeah.
Buck's 200 yards away on the neighbor's piece. I'll never see it again.
Yeah. So what's new? What's next for Leupold? What's the big, I mean, you guys just, like I said, launched a few new products here recently, but what's on the horizon for the guys over at Leupold?
We have so many great products. We do a 5-year product roadmap, and we've got a bunch of great product coming down the line that we're continuing to develop in both our hunting product and what we consider our shooting product. Observation is honestly, I'm proud of what we have now, but guys, it's going to be next level. We really made some significant investments to take our observation product to a whole nother place. And, we're just this brand has found a, pretty incredible momentum around just being relentless. And I think, I wrote an article to our whole team, here in Oregon about, kind of what be relentless means to us as really a mantra. It's not a tagline for us. And whether it's being relentless about quality or being relentless about being a manufacturer in the United States, or being relentless about being a hunter. And how we, hunters all over the world, all of us as hunters have to be relentless in some way, shape, or form to be successful. Whether you're on the top of a mountain hunting a sheep, or whether you've set up your property in Missouri to make it, a property that is incredible to attract, quality deer and manage that. I mean, those are both relentless pursuits that we're just happy as a company that we want to continue to do that for all of our Leupold loyal out there. So we're going to continue that. We got great products coming on all sides of it. I mean, we've got a lot going on. We're selling a lot of hats and a lot of apparel and a lot of performance eyewear and things like that too. But our focus will continue to be making great optics.
Yeah, that's like, it's interesting because the performance eyewear, the apparel is nice as hell. Like, it's really good. Every time I get something, I send Bruce a text. It's like, hey man, I don't know why I keep getting stuff, but thank you. It's so nice. The quality. And that's not a lie. It's like, okay, so the same DNA that goes through the optics comes out in everything else they do too. And then I think it speaks to the quality of the people there. And we got to experience that out in, when we went out there to Oregon. And that was, I sent Bruce a text after that. I said, hey, these guys, I don't know if anybody else sent you a message, but the people there were first class. They knew their stuff. They were professional. And I think that's what sets them apart, because it's that way in every department.
Yeah.
You look even at the video quality of what they're shooting and putting out on the website.
Cool stuff.
It's just quality stuff. So to me, that's important when you buy a product, to know that the people that work there have a standard that is set. And you just mentioned it, the be relentless standard is something that is in your DNA there as a company.
Yeah. And I live in my Leupold performance eyewear,
Same.
especially like when I'm running over the summertime. I love having kind of that hunter identity in a field of people who aren't necessarily hunters, but I'm still kind of able to fly that flag in a subtle way in a different group of folks.
It's quality. It's just quality glass again. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We're not, everybody that does product here and our engineering team as a whole knows that if it doesn't have a performance element to it, you can't do it. It's got to have performance, and it's got to, when you bring it in and you lay that product down, is this going to be relentless? Is this going to allow our consumer to do what they need to do? And so that's the, we don't always get that, but we're darn close. We try really, really hard.
I will say this. I don't know how people shoot with their eyewear on. Like everybody out there, when we were shooting in Oregon, they were all using it. For some reason, what is it about me? I can't properly get on the scope, or I don't know. Like, definitely with binoculars, it screws with me, my vision somehow. Not because like any eyewear, I can't wear anything. I always had to take them off, and I felt like I was at a disadvantage.
High cheekbones.
It was sunny as shit out there. And so I'm like, I could really use these, but I can't. I don't know what it is. Like, the other thing is, they made fun of me because I put my eye cups out on the binoculars. They're like, oh, we see that, we know this is an amateur. I'm like, shit, man. It's like, I can't see if I put them in. What am I doing wrong here, Bruce?
First of all, I don't wear my glasses when I shoot either because it bugs me. So I'm in the same boat. And so I think that's just your preference and what you've done, and I've got my way of doing things, and everybody's facial features are a little bit different. So if you pull your eye cups out, that's okay. They were probably just going, okay, Matt's a target. We can get him.
Yeah. Tim, it's the first thing he said. I was like, Tim, I didn't say it when he said, like, in front of the whole class, he brought that up.
Oh, geez.
Afterwards, he didn't say it to me. He was saying, this is something we noticed. I went up to him. I was like, hey, I got to be honest. Like, this is how I do it. Don't make fun of me, but I can't see any other way. Why is the feature there if I'm not supposed to be using this?
Just to make fun of people.
Exactly right.
Is this a trick?
Yeah. I'm trying to think how I do.
Do you go cup in or cup out, Tim?
It's different if I'm wearing glasses, and I'm trying to remember. I think without glasses, it's cup out. And if I have glasses, it's cup in. I fold the cups in. Yeah. I think.
How about you, Bruce? You a cup in or a cup out guy? I got to know.
It depends. It depends on the binocular. On the new Pro guides that we came out, we have three different different cups that you can use on it. So that I don't have to pull them out. But if I go with a standard, I usually take them out. So Tim, I'll go talk to Tim after this podcast.
Oh, he's gonna get it.
He's gonna get a text from Tim. Maybe it was somebody else. I don't know.
Like when Schwartz gets busted for saying the cuss word.
They have in the new cups that they came out with. One of them's got like what do you guys call them? Where it comes out of the side of your eyes. Bat wings. Those are cool. Those are the shit. Like if I could have those on every binocular. In there. Yeah. That was the preference all the way. The bat wing.
Loves the bat wing.
I'm a bat wing kind of guy.
Bat wing face. Bat wing face. And
we're moving to do that on everything we got going forward as we keep going is those different eye cups, because that's the big fit issue, right? I mean, it's just like we all like different pairs of sunglasses, right? Or, performance eyewear on it. This looks good. This doesn't fit right. Yeah. All of our faces are shaped differently. And so giving people an option of eye cups to put on makes sense.
So that'll just come standard with the new binoculars or some of them. We're just going to
start doing it. Yeah. As we rev new styles coming in.
Yeah. That's smart. Cause I mean, like you said, it's different for everybody. So Tim, take that, Tim.
What Tim are we talking about here?
Any Tim is going to get chastised.
All the Tims.
Dang.
No, Tim's great. The other Tim's even greater.
Tough on Tim.
Tim is awesome.
So, all right. Well, these are the things I needed to really dive into. Why I'm infuriated.
Bruce, you didn't realize we're not recording this. This is just Matt's personal.
That's what every podcast I do, any guest, it's for me. It's not for people listening. I got things I need to know why I'm doing them wrong.
The Matt Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast.
Yes, it's very much less popular than the Drury Outdoors.
Wish I would have known that.
Well, Bruce, okay, so we're going to jump into some of our, we have a question of the day and wildlife word of the day. We always give our important guests anyways, a chance to leave at this point in the podcast. So this is your out, or you can stay for the next 15 minutes while we get through the ins and outs of the business part of what we're about to do.
No, let's do it. I'm on. I'm here.
Bruce is the man.
Bruce is going to play.
Oh, good thing, because now I'm looking at the question of the day. It's for you. Okay. All right. So the question of the day is brought to you by, the Leupold RX 1400i TBR Gen 2 rangefinder. So this thing's equipped with a bright red display and a high performance DNA laser engine. This lightning fast rangefinder will take your hunting and shooting to the next level. All right. For Bruce, we have a question. It says, what zoom ratio would you recommend for an intermediate shooter who focuses primarily on hunting Midwestern whitetails in both open ag fields and big timber? This is from producer Jim. Okay, so what do you recommend for intermediate shooter who focuses primarily on hunting Midwest whitetails?
Whose name is Jim
in both ag and timber.
Yeah, I mean, my pick is going to be a 2-12. So a VX6 2-12 or maybe I would do a VX5 3-15. Either one of those are going to work great. But a 2-12 is going to give you anything close. You've got low magnification, and if you need to get to 12, I think anything in the Midwest, at the distances, at least I'm used to shooting there, you're going to be fine.
Oh yeah,
out to a couple hundred yards for sure.
Yeah, that's the VX5. Well, that's what I shot out in Utah, I think, when I went with
the
you.
VX5.
Yeah, and then
Or you might have the Mark V out there.
It might have been the Mark V, but when we were out in Oregon, it was the 6, right? It was the newest. Was it VX6 or the Mark 6? It was VX6. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And those things, I mean, you can reach out there. I was shooting 1,200 yards with it pretty easily.
Incredible.
It is crazy. So yeah, it's plenty of scope for
you got a bunch of magnification ranges on that, right? You can go 1 to 6, you can go 2 to 12,
True.
3 to 18, and then 4 to 24. So you've got tons of options in terms of what you want to do. But I really like a 2 to 12. It's straightforward. You can get it illuminated, and it just works.
Can you explain the 2 to 12 part for us? Like you just rambled off a bunch of different options in just the one scope, the VX6. So what is the difference, or what are you looking for as a consumer going to buy one?
Yeah. So we call it a VX6 because it's that 6 magnification range. So 1 to 6 gives you 1 to 6, right? You go to a 2 to 12, it starts at a 2 magnification, and you can spin it to a 12, right? So that's really what you're talking about, is that magnification range. Then you can move up 3 to 18, which I have a lot of on my rifles. It's still lightweight. It's still a relatively manageable small scope. If I'm packing or whatever, and I've got to, go a long ways with my rifle, it works really, really well. And I generally won't shoot over 18 power, even if I'm shooting something that's a decent distance. Mm-hmm. So that's your magnification range, is what that is.
Perfect.
Right on.
Asking for a friend. They taught us that at the academy, so I knew this.
You were just checking to see if Bruce knew.
Well, he's the CEO and president. He better. Okay. You passed, Bruce. Good job.
Today's Wildlife Word is brought to you by Sportsman's Channel. Check out the latest season of Winchester and Drury's Natural Born. The word used to describe the reddish color of some birds and mammals is A, fulvous, B, color phase, C, chromatism, or D, hue.
Bruce, we always let the guest go first.
Can you read my options again?
Yeah. So the reddish color on some birds and mammals is called A, fulvous, B, color phase, C, chromatism, or D, hue.
I'm going hue.
Okay. I'm going to go C.
All right.
I wanted to go D, but I switched to C.
I don't like when you say that. The answer is fulvous, A.
Damn it, Bruce.
What?
Yeah. Explain yourself, Tim.
Well,
we both were wrong.
It's written on the paper, so
I think I want to see the definition of that, because
fulvous
sounds odd.
The definition has been lost to time, Bruce.
I think this is bullshit.
The last time I said that, my mom slapped me.
Fulvous. Okay. Reddish yellow. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. Reddish yellow. Tawny. That's all it says. That's it.
Remember Tawny Catan?
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
I'm sure Bruce remembers. That's probably you're kind of right in your wheelhouse of age. Not to be ageism here, but you're a little older than we are.
Yeah.
Bruce isn't having it. It's like, no, I'm not. Okay. He's just like, all right, we're gonna cut that last
She
part.
turned crazy.
She did.
Yeah.
But wasn't she the one in all those music videos?
Yes.
And she was crazy in the music videos.
Yeah.
So maybe she was just playing herself.
What could be?
Yeah.
She's typecasted.
Who did she marry?
Oh man, she married a rock and roller.
Was it one of the Van Halen guys?
This is also knowable information.
Bruce, this is what you get when you come aboard.
When I decided not to drop off.
Yeah, I mean, it's really your fault. Next time, now you know. All right.
I was hoping the lights would go out again.
David Coverdale.
Sneak out.
She passed away in 2017.
Rip. Okay.
She married David Coverdale. I don't know who that is, and Chuck Finley.
Chuck Finley's who I was thinking of. They had a real tumultuous relationship. There was some domestic issues, if I recall. Chuck Finley, wasn't he a pitcher? Was he a pitcher or an actor?
Chuck Finley, he was a professional baseball pitcher.
Yeah, he played for the Cardinals for a little bit.
California Angels, Indians, Cardinals.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Now you know, Bruce.
Tawny Catan.
You thought you were going to be talking about optics.
Gotcha.
All right. So
we got a shout out.
No, we need shout outs.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't have any shout outs.
Could Jim give us a shout out?
Yeah, he gave us the question of the day, so why not?
Hey guys, really great show. Nice job.
So, hey, we need you guys to go to wherever you're listening or watching the podcast and leave a shout out. We'll read it on air for you. We'll name names. Last but not least is Rack Pack, the Facebook group over there on Facebook. All you gotta do is type in 100% Wild Rack Pack, and you're there. It's a private group where we make fun of Tim.
Very private.
Very private. We make fun of Tim and his saddle hunting, and we give some advice every once in a while.
Relationship advice.
Any advice.
Okay. Radish
advice. Food plot advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime there's a food plot question, I just at Forrest, Wade, or Perry. Hey, what do you guys think?
We already know what we're gonna say. Curious what you're gonna say.
We got a new name this week. Andy Guilford.
Ooh.
Been trying to get Andy in there for a while now. Bruce isn't in there.
Andy.
Bruce is one of those guys where he's sneakily on social media. He may or may not be. We don't know, but he sure is in the know. One of those guys.
I've got people.
He's got people.
Researchers.
All right, Bruce. Well, we've wasted enough of your time here, I think. It's the end of the day for us. You probably still have time there where you got to do something. So get back to work, sir. Keep making those great optics for us.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on. And Matt, thank you so mumuch for all you and the rest of the team do. We really appreciate you guys. Tim, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
sure thing.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us out to the Leupold Optics Academy. It was eye-opening, pun intended. It was pretty awesome experience, and one that I hope to get invited back sometime soon. Hint, hint.
We'll see.
Right after we get you on that elk hunt again.
Hey, yes. Now we're talking. Anytime.
Actually, I'm taking Chad. Chad's going with me this year.
Oh, I mean, if I were to pick someone, I get why you pick Chad over me. But if I have the opportunity to go again, I would not pass it up.
Wow,
it's been at least, that was probably
like
2017
or
17, 18. It's 2024. I mean, come on, Bruce. What are you waiting on?
Let's do it. We got to get it in the queue.
All right. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. We love you guys. And if you need anything, you know where to find us in the middle of Missouri on a 100-degree day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Till next time.
See ya.
Peace out.
All right.
Take land management to the next level with DeerCast's exclusive virtual rain gauges. Pinpoint accuracy and historical data, all powered by industry-leading ag weather services. DeerCast has the tools to keep you ahead of your game.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by DeerCast Maps, waypoints, weather, virtual rain gauges, and more. Every tool you need to get ahead of your game.